Okay, so
It's like
I know, it's a little loud in here.
yeah, I just want to know, do you think that Belle will try to change Rumple's dark ways, or?
yeah, I mean, I don't think she. I don't think she assumes she'll be able to, create a completely different person out of this guy who obviously has a lot of troubles, shall we say? But I think more to the point of actually bring out the light side of him and the side that is there that was just being hidden away. I do think she can. She believes she can do that, and hopefully she can.
Will she change into like a darker person?
I was actually just talking to him about that. I mean, who you're with and who you spend time with obviously affects who you are as a person too. So I would imagine there's going to be a certain amount of balance brought back to her, maybe of not a dark side, maybe, but maybe a side that's a little less Belle predictable. Basically, not maybe as optimistic as she usually is about.
Emilie, we saw at the end of last season, she's been freed. Bella's been freed from the evil queen, and we haven't seen any reaction to her about what she feels about the evil queen. And can you tell us a little bit about what her
Yeah, well, it's really interesting because she's basically, with anyone who doesn't know who anyone is, really, at this point, coming into Storybrooke, really, except, okay, she's been told to find Mr. Gold. That plays through. She remembers him, but, she hasn't been exposed to anyone else. So there's this sort of limbo time right now where it's not just figuring out sort of where she is and who she is, but surroundings and people. I'd imagine she's going to have a pretty strong reaction though to the evil queen, especially too because the one person who she does know and loves and cares about is incredibly obviously pissed off at her. So that's her initial reaction to that, I think.
What would you say was about Rumpelstiltskin that Belle found appealing?
I think it started off in a very different way to how it ended up with them. In my view, part of it was an opportunity to have an adventure, to leave. You look back, say in like the 1920s, 30s, for a woman to leave home. You went to nursing school or you got married. The only way to leave home. So for her, it was really like, God, I had this opportunity to leave and to do something different, and then. In a way, I think him being so juxtaposed to her made her just really want to bring out something that she knew he had that nobody else had cared about. Wounded soul, caregiver kind of relationship,
So do you think it really is a true emotion, or is it more a case of almost like Stockholm Syndrome?
No. I think she felt pretty hard pretty quickly for him, and it was interesting for her to maybe not have the other person just react how she's used to. Somebody probably just falling in love with her, or being not like him, who's just completely confused why this girl likes him at all. And I think that made her even more. Yeah, I think that. Basically.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy to, yes.
Were you one of the 4,500 people that sang happy birthday? How incredible is that? I said if I start crying, it's going to be silly, but trust me, I was very moved. I had tears in my eyes. It was very sweet. I've never had so many people sing happy birthday to me at once. It was really special. Thank you all who sang.
Lana, Oscar Wilde said in terms of being earnest that the good will end badly, or the good will end happily, the bad will end unhappily. That is what fiction is. How is Regina going to end, do you think? Where would you like to see her end up?
Redemption, right? I think that there's...
And what would that redemption look like?
I think there's still a lot for Regina to learn. But Regina is very unlike a lot of us, too. She's very different from me. I have a really good heart. I think Regina does, too. I think I've been very fortunate. I've had a lot of good in my life, and I've had a lot of, I guess you can call them angels. You know, I feel very protected. I think Regina isn't. I think that she's kind of one of those unlucky souls. But I still think that there's room for growth, and I think that she will discover how to do that because she's lost Henry, and it will force her to dig deep to figure out some things and take responsibility for some things and hopefully change her path. We'll see how she does it. We'll see if she does it. We'll see how many episodes she does it before something else happens. I think the day that Regina becomes good, where do we go from there? You know, and hopefully in season 7, I'm going to go with 7. It's a better number. It's a good number. You know, she will either end up with a halo over her head or 6 feet underground. But let it be in season 7, yes. Episode 22.
Absolutely.
So if we'll get an idea or more of an understanding of why she won't act against Mr. Gold, about what Mr. Gold is holding against her. It seems like she's got something against everybody else, you know, that she can hold over everybody else. And he's got something against her.
Mr. Gold and Regina have a very unique relationship. And there's a lot of history there. A lot of history.
That history will we get to see?
You'll get to see a lot of it.
Okay.
You will get to see quite a bit of it. And it's quite juicy and it's fun. And I'm excited. Bobby and I were texting. We're like, oh my god, I'm so excited to tell this story. I'm like, we do. I love working with him. And he's wonderful.
How is your relationship with Henry going to be this season?
Like I said, I'm not quite sure because, you know, I've only read 2 episodes. But all I can say is I know ultimately she really loves Henry. And I know as hard as it is for Henry, he has to love his mother. Even though she's not his biological mother, she's his mother. She's been there for 10 years. She raised him. There's as complicated as relationships can be with, you know, parents, children. There's always love there, right? There's always love. So I think it's going to be a tough. I think it's going to be a tough, you know, relationship to salvage. But I hope that they find a way to make it happen.
So, Regina, at the end of the season, lost her ace in the hole over Rumpel because Bella is now out of prison. So, how is that going to play out? You don't have to, I know you're not going to spoil it for us.
I don't know.
How's she going to feel about that?
I think she has bigger concerns. She does.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Henry's a priority right now.
Thank you, guys. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
Listen, when I was 14, yes. 23. No, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Can I ask you guys to sign that's being auctioned off by the UK fan site for With Kids Glasgow for
Sure.
charity? Thank you. I'm asking everybody to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, God, I didn't think I'd have to look at me that closely
Let
today.
her go off in just a second and
Go
it's
away,
not
Eddie.
streaming.
disconcerting.
Very upsetting. I don't.
So tell us everything about what's going to happen in season.
Okay, well, the story starts out with Act 1 begins. This season, I think is the next chapter. Last season we broke the curse, and everyone remembers who they are, but they have not found themselves back in the Enchanted Forest, so I wonder why. Is there even an Enchanted Forest to go back to? And, what happens now where they realize what they are and what they've lost.
How we're finding Henry's father, because he said in the pamper room that we're going to find out who Henry's father is. How will that affect Emma, but also how will it affect Regina?
Well, that's an excellent question, and it's a complicated relationship because one of my favorite moments, like in the finale, is when Regina says to Henry, no matter what anyone tells you, I really love you. So there's a really complicated relationship we want to explore about these parents who both do love this kid, and what happens when someone else comes into it, and how that can affect them, and that's a really interesting area for us.
And we remember last year she told Henry her father died in an accident and he was a fireman, so what happens if that turns out to not be true, which clearly it is not.
More trust issues then.
Yeah.
Well, I think, one of the things is about the show, the theme is motherhood and parenthood and fatherhood, and that's not an easy thing.
But then how does Henry react when he now has two parents, two mothers almost, who he can't trust? He's got trust issues. How does that affect?
Well, I'll tell you what affects is Archie, because I guess will be in more business.
He's going to be buying a boat.
Yeah, exactly. Jiminy Cricket's like, I'm rich, I'm out of here.
Jacking up the rates.
Yeah.
You guys, one of the main differences between fairy tales and what you guys are doing is in fairy tales, the evil are just evil. There's no reason for it. You guys provide motives. And I wondered, where did you what was your process for figuring out what motivates these characters?
Well, because as writers, what's interesting for us to explore is complexity, and it's what we've always said is like the greatest mysteries to us are character mysteries. So why is someone evil? And that kind of led to this notion in season 1 of evil isn't real and it's made. And we really wanted to see if we could understand these characters, why they do what they do, and then communicate that to an audience.
It goes right to, on the pilot, we were sitting there on the set, and Lana was saying the line, enjoy this happy, happy day. And we were talking about it, she's like, why am I saying it this way? And we said, well, because Snow is, in your mind, taking everything you've ever wanted. And we already knew about her, that Snow was responsible for the death of her fiance, and so this is what she was supposed to have. So that's where that anger came from. And when Lana, when we sat down and we talked about the characters, and you go back and rewatch the pilot, she's playing that, even though we don't tell you that for 18 episodes. And so for us, that allowed her to bring a real sense of pain to the character, and not just a mustache-twirling, villain.
Does that mean there is no real evil?
Well, that's interesting. That's a super interesting philosophical question, which is...
Let's limit it to your show.
No, but I think it's interesting. I think there is really evil. But I think that why do people perpetrate evil? Why do they do the things they do?
Yeah, and also I think, of course, there's just pure evil in the world, and there's just people that... But as storytellers, we are much more interested in telling stories about tortured people who make bad choices than we are just evil people being evil. But, you know what? Maybe we'll find someone that's just evil and they're fun, and then we'll kill them.
The gruesome way.
Is Rumpelstiltskin still going to be looking for his son?
Well, I mean, for me, he's certainly gone through a lot of machinations to get here, so I think the biggest regret in his life is that, and I think that was the moment where, in a weird way, he lost his heart.
Do we know his son?
That's an excellent... We know him.
Do the audience, have we seen him yet?
Maybe. He might have, he might not have.